Warning, this podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised.
Olaf on that computer.
Olaf?
Yeah, shit frozen.
That was funny. I didn't expect that one. That was good. Hey guys, this is Ashley.
And this is Daniel.
Welcome back to another episode of Ghost Gossip.
Hey y'all.
Wasn't going to record this week, was going to actually have an off week because I had plans.
Yeah, it wasn't really an off week.
It was a work trip.
Yes, it was going to be a work trip.
Yes, it was going to be like something to create an episode. I can't think of that, like a research.
Yes, but the trip you tried to go on was like a day of work.
Oh my God, that was like the day from hell.
Yeah.
So guys, I was planning on going to Pennhurst. I had my plane ticket, I had my hotel room, I had my rental car.
Bags were packed.
My bags were packed. I was so excited. It was supposed to be an easy, direct flight. It was supposed to be amazing.
Took my girl to Starbucks for a little Starby date in the morning and then dropped her off at the airport.
Sure did. Drove away without me.
Yep.
Just left me there.
Deuces.
And then
I came back and picked you up.
No, no.
Yeah, it was a custody exchange.
It was a custody exchange. Heather came and got me. Guys, yesterday didn't go as planned. It didn't go as planned.
No.
So I'm going to just tell you about how I almost went to Pennhurst. That's the name of today's episode. How I almost went to Pennhurst. And I wasn't like admitted either.
Yeah, well, that was what my thought was like going through a day like you had could cause one to be admitted to.
Yesterday was rough.
Or the like.
Yeah, yesterday was rough. I just want to say, just from the top, if it was not for the people I was stuck in the airport with, one girl's name, her name's Heather, and she actually owns some kind of fitness thing. I'm going to look up her Instagram right now so I can, it really, if it wasn't for her and her husband, it would have been rough.
Even more worse.
Okay, so her name is Heather, and she owns a burn boot camp. Look at that. Her Instagram name is actually Fit Burn Mom, and she is like the most extroverted person I've ever met in my life. And I'm married to you. Like she was burping on the plane. Okay, she was doing lunges and sprints through the airport, and I was just laughing, eating my cheese. Okay, I was like. You get it, girl. I'm going to eat my prosciutto wrapped cheese and I'm going to watch you and I'm going to enjoy the calories that you're burning from here. And then there was another man, his name is Dr. Frank, and he was amazing, just smiling. He's actually from Simpsonville. He works in the area and he's a children's book author.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he was on his way to LA and he got there at 5 a.m. And his plane had been delayed since 8 a.m. And so he was smiling. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't know what was going on because American Airlines was not telling us anything. Thank you to Heather and Dr. Frank and everybody else that I sat with. And they kind of became my travel companions because I was there by myself. If it wasn't for them, yesterday would have been even more miserable than it was.
No, that's tough.
It was. But thankfully, can you imagine if it was like the opposite, those type of like opposite people who were like really aggressive and mad?
Oh yeah, it would have just made it 10 times worse.
Yeah, it would have set the tone and everybody would have been mad. And because Dr. Frank and Heather were in such a bubbly mood, everybody just smiled.
It's infectious.
It is. It was great. And if I had to be stuck in the airport, those were the best people to be stuck in the airport with. Guys, I had booked a trip to go to Pennhurst, and I was actually going to meet some of my friends with Beyond the Badge Paranormal. And I was actually going to meet some other people that I follow on TikTok, one group being Perceived Paranormal. And I was super excited. We had been chatting back and forth. And so even though Beyond the Badge Paranormal was kind of coming in after me, I already had a plan that I was going to go meet people that I have met through TikTok. And I was going to mingle. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get their names because I was ready to go.
Ready to mix and mingle.
I really was.
But she ain't single.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not single. So residual haunts with Matt. I was supposed to meet him. They had a table up there and I was going to go meet his group. Beyond the Badge Paranormal, of course, which is Jessica and Jeremy. There's some other people that I had talked to on here. Paula's Paranormal Project. I was supposed to meet up with her as well. And just, some random individuals who aren't really with ghost hunting investigator groups or anything like that. Just individuals that I had been talking to and interacting with. And I was just really looking forward to meeting them.
Of course.
So I got to the airport. I had everything planned. I mean, I am type A when it comes to my traveling. Get to the airport. Everything is fine. Daniel drops me off. I have my little coffee. I signed up for Clear. So that way I could get through a little bit faster. I have my passport scanned. The day before I had gone to get my real ID because I've been such a slacker. Guys, ladies, if you've been married and divorced and your name has changed a couple times, getting your real ID is a real bitch, okay? So I have been putting off getting my real ID for years because I have been married 3 times and I have been divorced twice. And I know, gasp. Scandalous.
Clutch to the pearls.
Oh. But yeah, my first husband was a real jackass, okay? So my daddy says that one doesn't count, but I was stupid and I changed my name then. And then during our divorce, it took so long, your girl kind of got pregnant during the end of that separation. And we're getting real personal, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
And I made sure I did not want Daisy to have his last name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So when we got divorced, I immediately changed my name back, my maiden name, because I was like, my daughter is not going to have this horrible man's last name, right?
Yeah.
And she would have if I wouldn't have changed my name. Then I got remarried to Daisy's dad. And so I changed my name again because I wanted to make sure I had Daisy's last name. And then that's where my name change has stopped because Daniel and I are married now and I do not share his last name because it was such a pain to change names. And the real ID went into effect in 2020 and I knew if I had changed my name again, that's just another piece of paper I'm going to need. Mm-hmm. All these documents. I got married in 2006 the first time. I was a baby. I don't have those documents anymore.
No,
I saved them on my work computer and then my work computer actually they updated and I lost all those files from 2010. And so those were my backup files. And then when they changed the system and I lost those archives, I was like, crap, what do I do now? Thankfully, South Carolina DHAC has it pretty easy where you can find the documents. And as long as you have all the information, they'll send you the documents. So I was able to get my marriage and divorce certificates. And then you got to have all these proofs of address and identity. So, I mean, I really...
And your eyeglasses.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I really was putting this off. And then Daniel's like, you can't fly domestically without a real ID, right? And I was like, what? He's like, you can use your passport, but it's going to take longer. Mm-hmm. Actually, passport does not take longer. Huh. Passport and real ID are one and the same.
Gotcha.
How they treat that. I went Thursday to the DMV. Daniel said, go to the one in Woodruff. It's so easy. It's fast. I was like, okay.
You went to the one in Fountain Inn.
I went to the one in Fountain Inn first, but I was on the phone with you. You didn't tell me to go to the one in Woodruff until I was on the phone with you. And I pulled in and there were no parking spaces. And you were like, go to the one in Woodruff. And I was like, okay.
No, I do remember.
Okay. So I pulled out and I was like, okay, I'll just head to Woodruff. I got all the way to Woodruff, signed in, got my little tag. And then the guy in front of me, I was number 3. He was number 2. That's how numbers work.
That's how they work. Counting.
Well, they said, you need to do your eye exam and you need to look in that thing. Here, clean this off. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, y'all, I don't know if you've ever met anybody that has one nearsighted and one farsighted eye, but I'm that person.
And she doesn't wear her glasses.
No, I do not. I have no depth perception, which is terrifying. But anyway, I cannot pass that eye thing at the DMV without my glasses. I cannot see whatever appears. My left eye, whatever's on the left side of on that screen just disappears. It's invisible. And I know that because I've had to do it before. I've tried it without my glasses before. I said, can I try it without my glasses? And they're like, yeah, you can try it. And I was like, I don't see anything. And they're like, put your glasses on. That was years ago.
Well, lucky for you, you have an eye appointment this week.
I do. We do. We all do. It's a family appointment. I leave Woodruff, drive back to Greenville, get my glasses.
Now, let's let the folks know this is like a 25-minute drive.
It was 30.
30, okay.
Yeah. And I had to stop and get gas. It was longer than that. So I had left the house at 8 a.m. because I was trying to get there right when they opened.
You getting back at the house to get those spectacles at like 10:05, 10:15?
It was 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
I pulled in the driveway at 10 o'clock to get my glasses. I'm like, I'm not going back to Woodruff. There's no way in hell I'm going back to Woodruff. I'll just go to Fountain Inn and I'll wait. I'm going to have to wait either way. I get to Fountain Inn, and Fountain Inn is usually good because there's usually somebody to greet you and they kind of give you your ticket. You don't have to try to figure out where you need to go. They're like, here, this is where you're going. I walk in and she says, all the cameras in the state are down. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I stood in line because I wasn't quite sure what she meant by cameras. I didn't know if it was like the driver's license cameras or some other camera. So I wanted to verify before I left. So I get up and I'm like, I'm here to get my real ID. And she goes, all of our cameras in the state are down and we don't know when they're going to get back up. But here's your form. If you want, you can go ahead and take your eye test and then come back. And I was like, no. And I left.
But are you going to remember your eyeglasses?
They're in my purse. They are in my purse in a case.
Is that the purse you're going to take?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Trying to cover all the bases here.
I really just need to put them in my car. That's going to be the best place for them.
And probably
or on my face.
And probably wear them while you're driving, since depth perception is an issue here.
Y'all, we're getting sidetracked, but this is a bonus episode, so happy listening. My left eye is either plus or negative. I'm not sure which one's nearsighted, which one's farsighted, but I'm extremely nearsighted on my left eye, and it's like 5.75. And then my right eye is the opposite of that one, but it's 1.5. I'm farsighted on my right side. So sometimes especially if I'm shooting a gun, I have to close my left eye to see. Hold still. Let me close my eye.
Yeah.
Don't move. I'm a pretty good shot though.
You are.
I'm a really good shot, but I have to close my left eye to see it. Anyway, when I was at the DMV and the cameras in the state were down, I was like, okay, is this like an omen? Is the universe trying to keep me from going on this trip, right?
Do you really want to go? Sometimes I think it's not necessarily trying to keep you from going. It makes you ask the question,
do I really need to
go? And what do I want to get out of this trip?
Right. Well, the universe will test you.
Yeah.
Like anytime you set a manifestation or you set a goal, the universe is going to test you.
How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? Right. So I was like, you know what? I have my passport. If I got to wait a little extra in line, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about the cameras being down at the DMV. No amount of anger or temper tantrum is going to make those cameras come back up.
Those cameras probably still ain't up.
Still are. If anybody knows about the cameras, can y'all let me know? I looked on their Facebook and they had gone down multiple times this past week.
I know. S-Dot ain't got it. No.
What did you... You are mumbling. South
Carolina DOT.
It's the DMV.
Oh, yeah. It's different.
Yeah, it is different. You are tired.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just sit there and look pretty, baby.
Okay.
Friday morning. It's D-Day. It's time to go. I'm packed. I packed a week in advance. I had everything ready. I made a cute little reel. It was aesthetically pleasing. I looked adorable. I was comfortable. Get to the airport. My husband drops me off about 8:30. I'm sipping my coffee, finish my coffee, go upstairs, sign up for the clear blue. No, that's a pregnancy test. Did not do that.
Why do you need a pregnancy test again?
Oh, God, that's how rumors get started.
Yeah.
But the clear, it's clear, so it's not clear blue, but their logo is blue. Anyway, Christopher at the airport helped me do that. He was very friendly.
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Christopher. Thank you so much. He made it very easy, explained everything. Actually, you're signed up too. You just have to do all your stuff. I added you.
Oh, cool.
So you just have to do your fingerprints and your real ID when you get there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I figured that'd be easier. So the next time we fly, you just gotta get through security. I didn't get groped this time. Last time I flew, I got felt up. So got all through, was good, got to my gate, sat there, started listening to a podcast that I love, and I waited.
And sat there.
And I waited.
And 4 hours later,
I was there waiting. Nobody was saying anything. My flight was supposed to board at 10:35. At 11:05, it was supposed to depart. I'm looking at my watch, and I'm thinking, I missed my flight. Okay? Because I had my headphones on.
Yeah.
But at 10:30, I took one headphone off so I could actively listen as well. And I was watching the people.
Yeah, you would have seen them.
Yes, I was sitting with the same people. We were all. But by 11:05, all of us are getting kind of angsty because nobody's saying anything. American Airlines is not saying one single word.
They're all just sitting there.
We're just sitting there staring at each other. I go to the bathroom. I come out. I decide I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to kind of walk around and see if I could hear anything. You know, I'm going deaf in my left ear and I'm trying to put my right ear gets people hey, what you saying? This is when I meet Frank, Dr. Frank. He's so sweet. He's walking around talking to people. He's the only one who has information. So come to find out.
Where are you getting your info from, Frank?
Frank, where's your info coming from? Where's your intel, Frank? The plane that was originally supposed to land in GSP at 10:30-ish was delayed because they had some kind of mechanical problem in Philly. They had to literally take the people off the plane, bring out a new plane from the hangar, and put those people on that new plane. And then while they were getting ready to taxi out, they were on the tarmac. They grounded all flights. Those people were in that plane from like 8 a.m. and then they switched a plane and then they were on the tarmac until almost 1.
That's terrible.
Yes. The plane that we were supposed to get on got to Greenville at 2:45 on the dot. They pulled up. American Airlines still not saying anything.
Yeah, because at that point they had y'all leaving at 3:25.
Uh-huh. Heather doing burpees and lunging and everything. And I'm like, I just want some wine, right? At this point, I'm like, I need a glass of wine.
Or vodka.
But I didn't get any because I'm being responsible. I was going on this trip by myself.
Renting a car.
I was renting a car
drive.
in Philly. I've never driven in Philly before. I've never been to Pennsylvania. I was trying to be responsible. I was like, no, I'm not going to have anything to drink until tonight. I'll get a little thing of wine and I'll have a glass of wine in my hotel room tonight to ease my nerves or whatever. But oh no, we board the plane at 3 o'clock. We're all on the plane. We back out, we push off or whatever. As we're riding up the taxi, we're going. We stop. You know how the tarmac kind of goes out and it goes really far and then it comes back around, but there's kind of like almost like the medians where the police can turn around on the highway. Yeah. They pulled into one of those and they stop. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. When do you ever stop on the runway? Like never, unless you're about to take off. Yeah. That's the only time you stop, right before you take off. We stopped and the plane started making a really funny noise. And it's like they were idling or something. It's like they turned everything off except the air. They come over the loudspeaker and says, Philly has grounded all flights and they are not taking any planes in and they're not letting any planes go out because they were in a huge storm cell yesterday.
Yeah, and it shut down the
radar,
the traffic management. Basically the radar, their computers, their systems were down probably because of the weather.
Yeah, they had nothing. Even though it was sunny, because the people that I was on the plane with are from there. They were talking to their family members. The storm had moved past.
Right, but the airport was still...
The airport was a mess. Their computers were down. They were canceling flights left and right. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, okay, universe, am I not supposed to be on this flight? Is this your way of not... Because I always say, when you get signs, you need to listen. And at this point, my gut is screaming, like... I don't think I need to be on this plane. But at this point, what am I supposed to do? Excuse me, I need to get off. I'm in the middle of the tarmac. Please let me off. No, we are sitting on the plane and they turn the seatbelt sign off so that way we can kind of move about. This is a tiny ass plane. This is so small. One of the guys on the plane has to bend down to walk through. He's so tall and this plane is so small. Then the toilet breaks. The toilet. It's overflowing, Daniel.
Oh, Lord. I
didn't tell you that part.
You didn't tell me that it was overflowing.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So there's some kind of chemical in the water.
Yeah.
And I guess it like helps it go down. Oh, no, that shit was coming up. It was coming up. And so Heather, good buddy Heather from New Jersey, doing burpee Heather, she goes up front to tell them. The pilot comes on. The pilot sounds absolutely defeated and exhausted.
I'm sure.
There's 2 pilots and 1 flight attendant on this plane. They all look exhausted because they have been doing this since 8 a.m. Just delay. He comes on, he goes, ladies and gentlemen, there's an issue with the toilet and we have to go back to the gate. So we go back to the gate where they park. Shout out to the little guy that stood at the window and waved to me. When we got back, I think he could tell I was like on the verge of tears and he stood there and waved to me. So then we're waiting and he's like, all flights are still grounded. I'll keep you updated. At this point, we're at 5 o'clock in the evening. I've been there since 8:30 a.m. Been waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, then all these guys come on board. They do the toilet. They get it working. And we still can't do anything. So the flight attendant's like, if y'all need to use the bathroom, use the bathroom. I know I went pee. And it looked like it was coming back at me. But do you think I said anything? Oh, hell no. I was like, I'm not saying anything. Somebody else will have to go. Somebody else can tell them. I'm not being the bad guy because Heather told him. And then everybody was picking on her and saying she backed it up with her big log.
That's hilarious.
She's like, I didn't do anything.
That's so funny.
It's so funny. Here comes the flight attendant. And I was about to text Daniel, if one more thing goes wrong on this flight, I'm getting off the plane. It's the universe's way of telling me I don't need to go. While I was typing that to Daniel, the flight attendant breezes past everybody, goes into the bathroom, comes back out, flies back up. And yeah, the toilet was definitely broken again.
Flight canceled. Phone's broken.
They didn't say a word. All of a sudden, we get a notice on our app saying the flight is canceled. The people from New Jersey and Philly, they all rented a car together.
Oh, that's
They made it back. I'm following Heather on Instagram now, and they made it back. So they drove back together. And I mean, it was like, I was one of the lucky ones because I lived in the area, whereas they were all trying to get home. There was one girl trying to get to her sister's graduation. There was another girl trying to get to a bachelorette party for her best friend. She was the matron of honor. Somebody else. I mean, these people were trying to get home to their families. And here I am. I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the insane asylum, you know?
And I've never been stuck in the airport that long. I mean, I've had a flight. I think the worst, I've had a flight delayed like 8 hours.
Yeah.
But you hear these stories, especially during the wintertime, of people getting stuck at the airport like 2 and 3 days.
Well, Mom and Dad, remember, they got stuck in New York and LaGuardia. The whole airport shut down when the computers went down.
Yep.
And they were there for days.
I can't imagine being stuck.
But they left the airport. They got a hotel room and they went and made the best out of it. But yeah, some people don't have that ability.
No.
And sometimes they have to stay in the airport because if something opens up, they have to be ready to go.
Exactly. Imagine just being stuck in the airport like that for 3 days.
No, I would, no. There's no way. There's no way. I would go crazy. I was going crazy. I had my feet up on my suitcase. I had my feet off. Not my feet off. I took my feet off.
I'd be laying on the floor sleeping.
You could sleep sitting up.
I slept on the concrete at Daytona. We were waiting.
When you went? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me one bit.
No.
I almost went to Pennhurst. The universe was like, no, I don't know why yet, but I do. That's one thing that through my spiritual journey and awakening and doing all that, I trust the universe. It never leads you wrong. Your gut is never wrong.
It was for some reason, some purpose, and we may not find that out until years down the road.
But yes, I didn't get to see my friends. I did budget rental car, no questions asked, refunded my money. American Airlines, no questions asked, refunded my money.
Ever.
The Marriott Residence Inn can go shove it up their butt.
You got them.
I got them. I left them a scathing review after I was on the phone with them trying to cancel the reservation.
In total, probably an hour and a half.
An hour. Yeah. Well, if you include Tyler.
Yeah.
I can't cancel that. Tyler.
You're at the hotel.
Tyler, my man. And then it's like, well, you have to cancel it where you booked it.
I booked it through the hotel, Tyler.
I booked it through the website. Well, you have to cancel it where you booked it. I'm thinking, no, I should be able to call you and you hit a button and make it go away. And it's Mother Nature. And there's even insurance policies have clauses about Mother Nature.
I don't think you were speaking with the most...
No. He was a ding-dong.
Intellectually...
They were all
riveting people.
They were incompetent, and I told them how incompetent they were. It was not my finest moment, but you bet your butt I got all my money back because they were trying to charge me a $209 cancellation fee. And I was like, the hell you are.
Which is almost as much as your stay was going to be.
Yeah. That was half my stay.
Yeah.
Because after fees and everything, it was like $400 for 2 nights. Oh, yeah. They wanted to charge me $209 even though... all the airport, like Philly airport grounded all flights and wouldn't allow anybody to fly in. Like, give it a Google. Look it up.
Oh,
Google it.
I've never heard that.
Oh.
Learn something new every day. I heard search it up.
Search it up.
Search it up, bruh.
Well, I ate that up and left no crumbs.
Slay Queen.
Thank you. It slapped. I was mad. Daniel, the last thing he said to me before he walked out the room when I was like, I need to speak to a manager. He's like, get him, baby.
I believe what I said was...
Rip him a new one?
Yeah.
Rip him a new one.
Rip him a new...
Asshole?
You said it. Rip him a new ass, baby. That's what I said.
You're allowed to cuss. It's my podcast. I have no rules. And the only rules that I have is don't be a dick. But I was so mad. I was a dick. He told me to calm down.
Yeah, that works so well.
I said, that doesn't work on me, sir.
Elevate your calm, dear.
Ugh. Yeah, I told him how incompetent him and his worker was and the person at Marriott Residence. And I told him I will never be booking and I will be letting everybody know about their level of incompetence. And I'm like, I'm not saying that you're the reason that my trip got canceled. I'm not blaming that on you. But what I'm explaining to you is that I can't control the weather or the airport shutting down.
I'm still getting all fired up again. It's all handled.
I know it is. I got everything. I got all my money back except the ticket to Pennhurst, which is okay.
Yep. And
I sent it to Jessica, so I'm hoping that somebody was able to use it. But if that's the only thing I lost out of all that, that and just being bummed.
Yeah, but we'll go.
We'll go.
We'll definitely
They'll
go.
do it again next year.
Yep.
There is a Paracon that Beyond the Badge Paranormal, Jeremy and Jessica are speaking at in Gettysburg in July. If you want to try to plan that. But I think we should drive if we do that, because I don't even think I want to try to fly through Philly or to Philly. I don't even think I want to even attempt that.
Yeah, I could see how there might. It's Philly.
Yeah, but we could always, I don't know. We'll plan it. But Jessica and Jeremy are both speaking at the Paracon at Gettysburg. And I've heard Gettysburg is amazing. And it is just so much. And I think if I go to Gettysburg, maybe I can get Anthony to meet us there, because Anthony wants to go back to Gettysburg. He's in Massachusetts. And then maybe some other people that I follow will be there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I was so disappointed. This was going to be huge for the podcast.
Yeah.
I was going to meet so many people. I was, y'all know I'm an introvert, and I was ready to be extroverted for a few days.
I really hate it for you. I really do.
Me too. I was very excited. I cried myself to sleep, but it's okay. I'm feeling better today. We got some sunshine, cut the grass.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want to tell you about how I almost went to Pennhurst voluntarily.
No, because she's crazy.
Well, they don't take patients like me anymore, so.
You gotta be dead.
I can't wait to see everybody's pictures. Y'all post your pictures. If y'all want, please at me in the comments so I can see them. Like sometimes, you know how TikTok is, the algorithm gets all messed up and sometimes I won't see people's stuff. So if you hear this and you feel so inclined, please just tag me or something in the comments so I can see your pictures and your videos. I can't wait to see everybody's stuff and hear about it. And I'm super jealous, but I'm so glad y'all got to go. I don't know what's on next week's agenda. I know I have some special guests coming up. Her name is Spooky Scary Time. Spooky Scary Story Time. Spooky Scary Spooky Story Time. She's amazing. She's in California. She's going to be on the show coming up.
Cool.
I have, let's see, one of my buddies, a weird spooky story time. She just messaged me. So funny. Hunting ghosts and making toast. They're going to be on at some point. I'm networking, baby.
You're booked up.
I'm trying. I'm going to relieve you of recording some.
The people will speak out and request my presence.
They're going to miss you and your sultry. Jada's going to miss your bedroom voice.
Yeah.
Hello. As always, find me on YouTube, Ghost Gossip 24/7. Find me on TikTok, Ghost Gossip Pod. Find me on Instagram, Ghost Gossip Podcast. And always email me your suggestions or your ghost gossip at ghostgossip247@gmail.com. Until next time, they'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Are you ready for the 4 seconds of not saying a word?
Nope.
Are you ever ready for 4 seconds when you don't say a word?
Sure.
Ready?
Yes. Now? Are we ready now? You didn't count it down.
Babe, just stop talking.
Oh. Like now?
Daniel.